Okay, so you want to start a junk hauling, demolition, and possibly a logistics delivery business. Well, I'm going to tell you why you should not. On YouTube, you will see hundreds of videos telling you you should start a business, you should do junk hauling, you'll get a truck. No one tells you what's truly difficult about starting this kind of business. So I'm going to lay it out for you piece by piece. The first thing is starting capital. I see a lot of videos where people are like, you only need a truck with a bed and maybe a small trailer, even a cage trailer. I find that to not be true. You need a reliable truck. And right now, if you're watching this video in the future, it's 2025. A reliable truck is going to run you at the minimum $60,000. Minimum. Now, you don't have to pay that in cash up front, but that's $60,000 of liability. That's a payment that you're going to have every single month, and it's coming. There's no evading it. Secondly, most trailer companies want you to pay for the trailer cash or wire transfer. Very rare will you find a financing option, especially if you're just starting out. You most likely don't have an established business credit, and again, you're going to put it on your personal line. That's more liability. That's another payment that's unavoidable. It's coming every month. So that would be two payments that you have if you don't have the starting capital to get in this business. Let's move on to something where I see the biggest fault when people start this business. Commercial insurance. If you don't plan on getting commercial insurance, I would recommend to not even start doing this. Wait until you have the money for commercial insurance. Now, I'm a veteran, so I get it at a different rate than everybody else. But I would say at the minimum for the year of what you're going to spend on commercial insurance is about $3,500. So if you don't have that, again, I wouldn't start it. The reason I say this is I see a lot of people that have, you know, the little cage trailers, or they're putting junk in their truck bed, and it's not a matter of if something's going to fall out and cause damage. It is when will something fall out and cause damage. And if you cause damage to someone else's vehicle, or God forbid bodily harm, and you do not have commercial insurance, a lawyer is going to have a field day with you. Next is you got to change the way that you look at how you're going to do business when it comes to competition. Because especially in the junk hauling business, competition is not just with other businesses. And I hate to put it this way, but truly your competition is drug addicts. I have seen no videos talk about how you have to compete with actual drug addicts. People who are, they're taking even SUVs or, you know, small Honda Civics to go do junk removal for free. They're doing it for free. That is extremely difficult to compete with when it comes to pricing. And you can explain all day. You can say, hey, I am insured. I guarantee that all of your waste and junk will make it to the appropriate facility or recycling center. People don't care. Because if you're over here like, yeah, I can do that for $250, and then a drug addict comes and messages them because they see one piece of metal scrap that they can possibly go to the scrapyard and get $8 for, they're gonna do it for free. So you have to have some kind of angle. You have to have an edge on your competition. For me in particular, I'm a civil engineer. I do things differently. I tell all my clients that I follow the EPA regulations when it comes to waste and recycling. I will never dump on the side of the road. And also, you know, my truck and my trailer, it exhibits a different level of professionalism. It doesn't look like I'm a guy who's just trying to make some cash on the side. You know, There's a level of professionalism when it comes to this job as well. Just because you're dealing with let's go with 50% of the time you're dealing with trash, doesn't mean that you have to look like trash. There's a lot when it comes to that. People love something that's aesthetically pleasing. All right, so moving on from that point, and I'm sorry if it sounds like a rant. It's just dealing with competing drug addicts is absolutely crazy work. Crazy work. Next, do you have the time? This isn't something that you can really try to just do on the side, because when you're searching for jobs, and there's different methods you can use, like Nextdoor, TaskRabbit, Facebook, or even Reddit. Like a big one is Reddit. If you use your local town's subreddit or city's subreddit, a lot of people will post on there. But the thing is, you have to have time and availability, because I'm telling you, when someone posts on any of these sites, you have at most 15 seconds to be in the top 3 comments, because after that it fills up quickly. We're talking there's 25 to 45 comments within 3 minutes, and if you're not one of the first, you can forget it, because no one, like, think about it, if you were in the opposite role and you posted and you're like, hey, I need this junk haul removed, you're not going to siphon through all those comments. You're going to go with the quickest, probably the top 5, see who's going to give you the best deal, and that's it. You're going to move on, because at the end of the day, you just want this trash to be gone. You don't care how it really gets done, and you want it at the least cost to you. So you have to think that way when it comes to gaining clients. If I were the client, what would I want? And then again, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. But drug addicts are on Facebook 25/9. I want to say 24/7, but it's 25/9, because they find extra time to be on there. And they won't even have, they'll just say, I'll come pick that up for free. And that's it. It's over. Like, you can forget about that post. All right, so next, when it comes to the junk hauling business, it's going to be extremely rough when you start. You're the new guy or the new gal. You're the new person on the block. And you got to make a name for yourself. You might have to start doing things for at cost. And when I say at cost, it's like you want to divide out your insurance cost, your truck payment cost, your trailer. You want to aim to pay back your trailer within a year. So you want to divide all that cost out, and then you want to divide your mileage into that equation. So let's say you're like, okay, everything boils down to $60 minimum, plus a dump fee, right? And check your local landfill, because some of them do it by weight, and some of them do it by weight, but they also have a minimum anyway, where they're like, listen, we don't care if you have less than 1 ton, you're paying the 1 ton price. So you want to divide all that out and just do it, at cost, or a minimum profit, where you're like, okay, if I do this one job, my at cost is $90, but I should let me try to at least make $15 off this job. It's only going to take me less than an hour. So I'll put it at 105, and I'll bid at 105. You might have to do that at the beginning, just to kind of get your feet in the water, so that people start to recognize who you are and what you do, and then they'll start referring you to other people, and gradually you increase your price. As you start to realize that you're gaining traction, you increase your price. And I don't want to make this too long of a video, so I'll pick one more point on why you should not. Are you prepared for the responsibility? What I mean by that is, are you an attentive driver? Are you going to be watching your trailer? Do you have essentially a checklist before you take off from your driveway with your trailer? Do you have a checklist that's like, okay, hitch ball is greased, now hitch is locked in, chains are crossed, My trailer cable is secure and reading. I have all my mirrors on my truck are functioning correctly. You know, I have gas, I have DEF if that applies to your truck. My licensing is in order. That's a big one. I see trailers without license plates and I'm like, what are you doing? And why? Like, not that I want people to get a fine, but I'm like, people who operate like that are going to cause damage or bodily injury. So essentially, yeah, are you ready for the responsibility that it takes to even get yourself on the road legally and operating legitimately? All right, yeah, I think that's all the points I really wanted to hit on this one. This is the first of many videos here to come. I'm gonna actually start posting some of my jobs that I do, you know. And I started this channel kind of to document the journey and how things go. And I'm finally getting past that beginner phase where you got to gain traction and you got to get your name out there. I'm finally kind of over that hump, and I just wanted to really, you know, put the information that I've gained out there for the next person who wants to do this. You know, you'll know, like any business that you'll get into, you'll meet some people who they kind of gatekeep the information and they don't want other people to know. But listen, before this, I was a barber. I still am a barber. You know, you never lose the trade. But there's a saying in the barber world, and it's, there are more heads that need cut than hands that are cutting heads. And the same applies to every business. Don't ever be afraid of competition, and don't ever keep someone else from entering the same business that you're doing. Okay, there's no reason to be greedy. Trust me, there's so much trash or demolition jobs, tree removal jobs. There's all these different types of work, and there's no way that you can do all of it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.